Hello YouTube, my name is OJMDS and welcome to another, or the technically speaking, third annual Nintendo predictions for the next year, for the lineup for next year. But this year, obviously, much like last year, it's not just gonna be just about the Switch's lineup like it was in 2017. It's also going to be like when I expect Nintendo Directs to happen, or predicting when Nintendo Directs are going to happen. But this time is also going to revolve around some updates for games and how I expect some games to be, carried over, ported over, or not ported over, updated. Why did I say ported over? I'm a little bit crazy. Oh, maybe I'm a little bit crazy. I mean, if you watch my predictions video or my who's next video about who's gonna be the next playable characters in Smash Bros. Ultimate Development DLC, the final characters I predicted, the character that I actually gave my seal of approval on, the character I legitimately was predicting, even predicted the trailer for it, is the one that proves that I'm a little bit insane when it comes to these. But I talk about updates on when games are gonna get updated, and a price cut for the Switch and revisions for the Switch. I think year 2, much like people are expecting it, will happen. So here's the thing. First things first, I'm going to predict Nintendo Direct. So I'm going to predict general Nintendo Directs in January, March, June at E3, September, and that's it. That's what the general Nintendo Directs is, mostly like we got this year, except in January it was a mini instead of a general, but I'm expecting this year to be general because we have a lot more things coming in that time period than before. Then obviously March, June, and September, like 2017, like 2018, is going to be other months taking advantage of the big, the much bigger lineup and roster of games that we are going to be having in 2019. Then I'm also expecting a Pokemon Direct either between January and February, or January and May. Genuinely expecting it to be either early January or late February. It coincides with how X and Y was announced. X and Y was announced in the early January, I think January 13th or before, and then late February was when Sun and Moon was announced. Sun and Moon was announced at the 20th anniversary of Pokemon in the 21st of February. So between announced Generation 8, and then I expect, if there's going to be games that will be receiving game-specific directs about a month before the launch of the game, much like we had in 2017. I don't think we had that in 2018, not that I remember, outside of, obviously, Smash Brothers. And maybe a Smash Brothers Direct if they have to announce a lot of characters at the same time, which I don't expect they will have. Or maybe even a Season 2 with more things coming, and announcing like game modes and stuff coming to the game. Then I'm expecting Super Mario Party to be updated with 2 to 3 new boards, and it will be updated throughout the year, so maybe a new board every quarter. It could be free updates, keep the interest in the game high. The game is selling very well in Japan and worldwide, so it will make sense. Mario Tennis, I think we're gonna keep getting the updates maybe until the end of the year, and I think like Splatoon might be getting some more. I think they're gonna make some more updates. Maybe, unless the team is working on something new, maybe an update or 2 to keep the balancing of the game, and maybe, obviously, with Splatfest and stuff, obviously they're going to be, I think, updating stuff. I won't try to predict third parties. Also, Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC, I think, will happen once every 2 months, with February getting Piranha Plant, March and April, most likely April, or April, May I should say, getting Joker, then Character 2 in June, July, Character 3 getting between August, September, then October, November for Character 4, and then around January, February. Then the other character won't be a part of the year. But some third-party ports that I'm expecting for 2019, because I'm not going to try to predict them all or most of them, I'm just going to predict some. I think Soul Calibur 6 and Tekken from Namco, keeping things there, makes sense. Both games, Dragon Ball FighterZ sold well on Switch, Xenoverse 2 sold well on Switch. Makes sense to port these game overs. They are in Unreal Engine 4, so it won't be too costly or too much of a port job. And then I'm expecting also, at least Tekken is on Unreal Engine, if I'm not mistaken. What if I'm mistaken on both? But I think both are on the Unreal Engine. Then Kingdom Hearts Collection, I think this will be announced in January, much like the Final Fantasy games coming, where it's not really a collection, it's just a bunch of games coming at the same time. I think that was what's going to happen. They announced for 20 last in September the Final Fantasy ones. I think we're going to get the Kingdom Hearts ones next year, and then the other two ones. I think it's mind-boggling that these two are not on Switch yet. Maybe they've been saving them for 2018 or 2019. It's Overwatch and GTA 5. They make sense. There's really not much for us to say about those two that hasn't been said already. Why? So these two should be ported. Then obviously we get January, and obviously we already know what January is going to be. It's going to be New Super Mario Bros. U. So it's not New Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. There's not really much to say, and maybe some more eShop exclusive titles. For February, I don't think with the direct only coming in January and nothing in December, I don't think we're gonna get anything for for February. I think we might be getting an update for Smash, a big update with Piranha Plant, maybe with some game modes, some echoes, some new assist trophies, maybe Pokemon, I don't know. But I'm expecting game modes, online modes, and all that stuff to come out in February. I know it's too soon from launch of the game to it, but it seems very possible, mostly to feel like the month with something. Then March, I think March is going to be where things start to shape up a little bit. In March, first things first. I'm expecting the March game and the June game to be interchangeable. I think if the two other things I'm expecting to happen in March, the game that's coming out in June will be, and the game coming out in January or March right now will be flipped. So the game that I'm expecting is Animal Crossing in March, because Nintendo wants to reach those 20 million shipped. They're gonna be needing something major for the year, to end the year on. And Animal Crossing, like right now, it seems like the Switch might end this financial quarter shipping 11 million or 10 million. That would put the Switch around the 15 to 16 million shipped units throughout the year, meaning that from January to March, to the end of March, we'll need to get 4 to 5 million. And 4 to 5 million on New Super Mario Brothers and nothing else, and maybe even the June game, it seems a little bit iffy, or even Fire Emblem or Yoshi or something, it seems a bit iffy, and I would see them pushing Animal Crossing to it. And if they cannot have Animal Crossing being in June, that's what I think. But I do think the Switch in March, because it's the second anniversary, we're gonna get either one of two things, or both. We're gonna get a price cut, a revision, 2 revisions, or all of the above. So the way I see it, I see that we can be getting 1 to 2 revisions for the Switch in March. The revisions, one would be a mini version of the Nintendo Switch, more portable version, more affordable for families, with the dock being released on being more widely available, and a Pro version of the Nintendo Switch, more powerful, more home console based. The thing that I predicted like a couple years ago for the NX, way back in 2016 actually, when we started hearing about the NX, I said the NX should be a 2 form factor system with a home console variant and a handheld variant. I even predicted, even before the Switch was announced or revealed, I predicted that there would be a Switch, that would be a Japan will get the handheld version first, and the West is gonna get the home console version first, and then within the year they would flip. And I could see it happening now, the West getting the Pro version, all Japan getting the mini version, and a year later them switching, with us getting the handheld and them getting the home console, or maybe we all get it at the same time. And it could be a way to Nintendo to keep interest in the system. And if they released the handheld version with Animal Crossing, would make perfect sense. If they released maybe Fire Emblem, but I have Skyward Sword HD, because I think Skyward Sword HD is coming this year, with the Pro version, it could work. Skyward Sword HD, Skyward Sword is a beautiful game on the Wii, could work very, very well on the Switch with the massive, with the graphics upgrades, and having the price cut would work with the mini. Like the mini would come out and be $250 to $225, maybe $250 to $199 seems a little bit low on the lower end of the scales. Well, $250 would be great, and the Pro being $350, $400 would make sense if it is a substantial increase. for it, or even just 300 and saying it's just a home console. It comes with a Pro controller. It doesn't have the Joy-Cons, but then it kind of loses being Switch, because, and technically speaking, so does the Mini, but still. But yeah, for March, I think either Animal Crossing or Skyward Sword HD with the price cut and a revision of the Switch. Then in April, I have Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think that the game either comes out before May, either before May or in May. So the games in May could be coming out in April, while the Fire Emblem comes out in May. The reason for this is that we're going to be getting a Fire Emblem Expo early in May, I believe early, like May 4th in Japan. I think it's in Japan. So the game has to be out, or has to come out soon, near that time period, so that we can get the announcement. Also, another thing that I forgot in the third party announcements or ports, Persona 5 either comes out next year alongside with Joker, or comes out in 2020, which it will be a year later, to keep up with the Persona time gap between original release and more portable version of the game. And then in May, well, Three Houses makes perfect sense for April or May. Then in May, that could also be April games, they are interchangeable, would be Yoshi with Daemon X Machina. I think that these are the two games that need, like, Daemon X is going to have to come out with something alongside it, and I think Yoshi is the perfect balance, especially since in 2019 we'll be getting a 2D game in the form of New Super Mario Bros. U, so it works well here. Then obviously June could be Skyward Sword HD, it could be Animal Crossing, or something I completely forgot, that could be Retro's Game. I also have Retro's Game as a possible July game, but Retro's Game could very well be the game that comes out with the revisions of the Switch, most specifically the Switch Pro, if it is a more graphically intense game. And it could be also in June, it could be also in July, and same thing for June, has been very much multiplayer focused with ARMS in 2017 and Mario Tennis in 2018. So Animal Crossing could fit in here very well. But if Animal Crossing is available earlier, then it will come out earlier. Then we reach July, and July could be Retro's Game, like I mentioned, or it could be the 30th anniversary Mother collection, and this is very unlikely to happen, but the Mother franchise turns 30 in 2019. It's in July, maybe. It does seem like Nintendo might be much more predisposed to listen and give fans what they've been asking for a while. Mother 3 being ported over or brought over, and maybe all the games remastered by, I don't know, maybe Next Level, or even Retro. This could be Retro's Game, for example. It would work very well. It could also go well with my prediction that Porky from Earthbound could be a playable character, playable DLC in Smash Bros. Ultimate, and with the announcement of the Mother 3 collection, it could work well. Then in August, I think Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 could come out alongside Luigi's Mansion. I think these two could be either here or a month later in the shape of September, or either or could come out in December in the of that year, but I'm expecting December to be in something else. Then for September, it could be, well, let's see what I just mentioned, Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Luigi's Mansion, or a port or a remake from an older game, or even a Mario Maker port, or Mario Maker 2. Well, I'm not expecting these. They're very unlikely for September. They could still happen at any point, so I just wanted to throw this out there. Then for October, I have Metroid Prime 4. And I'm going to say something very interesting about Metroid Prime 4. I don't only think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the game in October. I think that this is going to be the big Nintendo game at E3. I know it's not at the level of Zelda in 27 or Mario or Smash Bros, or even at the level of Pokemon and Animal Crossing. But I think this will be the game that will be the focus at E3 for the booth, for presentation wise. It'll be the final game, because I think this, given everything we've seen as of right now with the Switch, this can be the game to finally put Metroid as, if done properly, if executed correctly by the team, if visually appealing, if gameplay wise is top notch, this could be the game that finally puts Metroid on par with the other Nintendo franchises. Because people will always say that Metroid has always been one of the top tier Nintendo franchises. A lot of people put it up there in quality. In quality, definitely is one of the best, Nintendo's best. But in sales, it's always struggled. Star Fox surpassed it. F-Zero was on its level right out the gate. Obviously it was same over a while, but no matter what. Splatoon came, surpassed it, destroyed it. Fire Emblem is reaching those numbers with a franchise that was Japan only, that struggled for a while to survive, but with very smaller, much smaller budgets than Metroid. Both Fates and Awakening sold like a Metroid game would, and Metroid has taken a back burner. And I think if this done properly, this alongside Three Houses could be the game that take these games from really good games that sell 1, maybe 2, close to 3 million, and go to the 5, to the 6, to the 7 million mark in sales. It will be interesting. I think Prime 4 and Three Houses, if done correctly, both of them can take these two franchises to the upper limits of sales when it comes to the Nintendoverse in terms of games. Then we reached November, and I think this is a no-brainer. I know it, you know it, everybody in the world knows it. The November Nintendo game will be Pokemon Generation 8. Come on. What do you want me to do? It's Generation 8. I know it, you know it, everybody knows it. It's an easy one to predict. It's going to be here. It's a big holiday game. And then to end the year off, I think we're going to end off on a new IP. Now, sure, I said the remake and the port could come here, but I think it's going to be a new IP. I think we're going to see more new IPs. And then here's the thing. I just kept this list for small, like the games that are going to come out in retail, for the games that a lot of buzz is going to be around, but I do expect Nintendo to release a bunch of smaller games, be it from them or from smaller companies they're working with on the eShop throughout the year, and even some of them getting retail releases to keep interest on the system. Now, I also am making the prediction that this will be the final year of support for the 3DS. Note that I think, no, this was in the other video, not this one. For example, in the March Nintendo Direct, I did my previous video, the Nintendo, the Smash Ultimate Who's Next predictions video, and I said that March Nintendo Direct could have a small part of the 3DS. And here's the thing, the Nintendo Directs have roughly nowadays been 35 minutes. Each Direct has about 5 minutes of 3DS footage, and the last Nintendo Direct, technically speaking, did not even have 5 minutes, because before we went to the headlines for the Switch, we had there was like 5 to 6 minutes, and one of those minutes was with Luigi's Mansion 3, a Switch title. So I think this will be the end of the 3DS, and I'm expecting the September Direct, because I still think the January and March Direct will have a little bit of it, and obviously the E3 one never has. But I'm expecting E3 to come and gone with no new announcements for 3DS, and the September one to completely skip 3DS and just go into Switch. I'm also expecting some games from the 3DS to be ported over to the Switch. It could be just eShop releases and stuff like that, but I think 3DS will be coming to an end, or at least the games that they'll be making for them will come to an end in 2019. And yeah, that's about it for this video. So tell me in the comment section, what games are you expecting for the lineup in 2019? When do you expect the Smash DLC? What type of updates do you expect from other games? When do you see the Nintendo Directs coming? And Jesus, how many more questions can I ask? Put that in the comments too. How many more questions should I ask in the end of these videos? But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I've been the Legend of DS, and I'll see you next time.